Oh my god, all these requests which are coming out from nowhere. Your team, which was planning to spend all time on your sprint work, are now spending their time on fixing some small bugs, generating reports, finding some data in the database or analyzing logs, or just finding this little thing for this gentleman from the marketing team which he needed for yesterday. It was also very busy on-call thing, so a lot of attention from your team was needed by on-call people. And in the end of the sprint, engineers are demotivated because they haven't delivered anything what they were planning for the sprint, and also they're super tired because all this context switching. Sounds familiar? Well, you're not alone in this. Thousands of teams the same moment are struggling from this.
So nerdy.
Almost all of us were working on these teams. I was working in such teams as IC, and obviously I managed this type of teams. And there are plenty solutions how you can make your and your team lives better, but today we're gonna speak about one which I like the most. Triage Process. To keep a long story short, Triage Process is a process where every Scrum team dedicating one person from their team to be a triage. And triage will dedicate their efforts to handle external requests. This request about, generating reports, finding something in the database and so on, but also will be served as a point of contact for any on-call person. And of course, if triage is chill and there are not a lot of external requests, triage person can handle documentation, fixing documentation, editing documentation, cleaning documentation, editing your alerts, and all the stuff you always wanted to do, but you never had the time to do that. Of course, current approach has its own pros and cons. First of all, triage person protecting your Scrum team. Even some small request to check something in the database can throw your engineers who is in deep focus away from their progress because they quickly need to context switch, find this data and send this data somewhere, and now they need to go back in their deep focus to continue where they left their ticket. And support tickets are essential for any product or for any platform owner and so on, so you can't just ignore them and you'll need to handle them somehow. Handling this type request by dedicated person will increase overall quality of life for your development team. It will increase velocity because your engineers will stay focused on what they are doing, and also it will increase satisfactory of your customers or clients because their request will be handled faster and they will receive their answer as quick as possible. Speaking about faster and quicker response, different companies are handling this type of request differently. Somebody got help desk. When you are writing some Jira ticket, whatever, it's saved somewhere in the desk and then somebody will eventually review all these tickets. Or sometimes it's just a Slack channel where people are asking, hey, I have a question and so on. Sometimes they're creating tickets in Jira. And then it all depends on your team how it being handled. For example, sometimes it's like, whole team is jumping on this ticket, they're solving, they're helping to find the information, they're giving advices, tips and tricks, and even line of code, and these tickets can be handled pretty quick. But then sometimes the ticket is created and nobody is just jumping there because, everybody got their work and they're on focus work and they are not handling that stuff. So eventually support ticket can be lost, which eventually will decrease the happiness of your customer. By handling this type of tickets by triage, you'll increase the quality and speed of handling such tickets. And it's also there is also learning opportunity for triage person. For example, if your team is owning a couple of systems and you kind of have these experts who are leading development who is mostly working with these systems, triage person will be one for whole team. And then requests which are coming to this triage person can be dedicated to different systems. That means that your triage will have a chance to look in other system, get deep into the code, maybe asking some questions, maybe get some experience. But for them, it's a learning opportunity to get more familiar with other parts of your system, of the system you're owning, which they are not working in most days. The other tricky item is understanding of the pain points which your customer have by using your systems. In most cases, when ticket is thrown to the team and everybody are jumping into this, people just don't make an assumptions what issues are repeated, what are not. But then if you have a triage person who is working, for example, for 1 week or 2 weeks as a triage, they see repeated questions, they see repeated pain points, which gives them better understanding of what is working nice in your system and what is maybe maybe should be improved. Other thing which can be improved by triage is fixing gaps in your system. And I'm not speaking about like obvious bugs or something which is never working. I'm speaking about more stuff like, hey, you don't have run book, or maybe some questions is not available on your FAQ, or maybe some alert is going crazy and throwing a lot of alerts which triage person need to respond to. This is a great opportunity to do your housekeeping. Since your triage person is not working or maybe not working on most of the sprint tasks, they can do all this stuff which you never had time to complete. For example, you wanted to start writing documents about some new process or new vendor you've integrated. That's an amazing moment for triage to spend some time and start create this document, which then they can hand off to another triage, which this triage person can use, next triage person can use to handle some occurring bugs. So now you have a person who will have time to complete all the things you never managed to complete. And of course, cons. Obviously, if you dedicate one person to triage activities, depending on the triage, because sometimes triage, as we've discussed, can be chill, sometimes this triage can be hard, this person will be always context switching. This is tiresome, sometimes it will be exhausting and other stuff, so maybe if triage is very active, giving 1 or 2 additional day offs for this person can be a good bonus for their work. So if you'd like to start triage process in your team, there are a couple of quick steps which you can apply right now. First, write a quick one-pager document which you can share with your team, which will describe the triage process. Second, think about what will be triage responsibilities for your particular product, project, organization, whatever. All of them are unique, so responsibilities and requirements will be different from team to team. Third, build triage schedule and length. So for me, I prefer to build this triage schedule and make the person working on a triage for 1 week. Of course, there is no meaning to put newcomers to triage because they don't know a lot of details to successfully handle different support tickets, but people who work in your team for a longer period of time can be a part of the triage schedule. Start your pilot shift. Yeah, that's the moment when there will be a triage and you kind of will be shadowing the triage person all the time just to understand what is happening, how requests coming, how they're being handled and so on. But this is very important for you to understand what are gaps of the process and improve process in future. And once one triage shift completed, create the handoff meetings. This is a session where previous triage are handing off different tickets or what was happening to the next triage. During this meeting, it makes sense for both like for triage people and you to discuss what was happening, what was irritating, what was repeating and other stuff, and maybe plan some action items for the next triage, which they can do during their free time. Triage process is a very powerful process. I observed how triage process changing the whole culture of the organization, and I've seen how different teams which saw how successful team with triage adopting triage shift on their side. It's very useful if you want to start doing what you was never doing or you never had the time to do so. So highly recommend you to try it, to check it, and maybe share your experience in the comment. And yeah, I wish you only luck on establishing this process if you choose to. So hit the subscribe button, put a like to this video, put some comments, it will help me to spread this video to more people. And yeah, see you on the next videos.
So nerdy.